Hi besties, I am at my parents' house and I'm also deathly ill. If you hear some rustling, my mom is close by, so that's what that is. But I got in several days ago and I just completely crashed. I think it was a combination of I felt pretty overworked by the end of my midterms and I felt myself getting sick, but I feel like I shoved it aside because I wanted to be as efficient and as on it as possible during exam season. But then after I was done, I just kind of crashed and burned. And I also don't know where I thought I was going. Like, I think maybe subconsciously I was like, I'm going to Mexico. I don't need any winter clothes because I did not pack my winter coat or my winter boots, and I did not check the weather. And Vancouver has just been hit with the most amount of snow I have ever seen in my life, really. So that has been chaotic to say the least. And then yeah, I just kind of pushed through and kept on going out, and then I just got progressively sicker, and now I've just been hermiting at my parents. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the little montage. I took some inspiration from Julie because she did a little like recap video, which I thought was absolutely delightful. I don't think I'll be able to figure out in the editing process, like having like a voiceover situation so I could explain to you what each clip was, but I tried my best to capture little moments here and there. I didn't get all of the bookstores I went to. Two honorable mentions that I don't think I filmed in is Macleod's, which is downtown Vancouver. It is your classic used bookstore that has books packed to the brim. And yeah, they surprisingly have a really great selection of contemporary literary fiction. I've just seen that kind of genre improve substantially over the years, and now Macleod's has become my go-to whenever I'm downtown, along with the Paperhound, which is my favorite bookstore in the city. I also went to the bookstore I work at, which I didn't get any clips of because I went during their holiday party, and so they were open after hours, but there was like a bunch of people there and everybody was like drinking wine and stuff. I didn't want to like, you know, awkwardly film in the corner. But I went there and that was just so nice. All in all, it has been amazing. I've just been like pushing my health, and now I'm just like actually pretty sick. It's not COVID, but still obviously not ideal. Anyway, I wanted to share with you the books that I have compiled, none of which were part of my written TBR. I was, actually no, with the exception of one book actually. I was just unsuccessful at finding those books, and then as you do, I walk into a used bookstore and I'm a loyal gal, and so I feel obliged to purchase something even if it's not in like my immediate TBR. So this is what we walked out with. The first one being one that I spoke about already, which is Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde, and I cannot wait to read this. There's an essay in here that was really formative for me, as well as my bestie Zoe, which I don't think I've ever featured on here before. But anyways, the essay we're talking about is The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. Highly recommend it. You can actually find this essay online. And then the other one that I've heard some really, really great things about that I myself have not, I've read snippets of it, but I have never read the whole thing, is Uses of the Erotic as Power. So yeah, those are the essays that comprise this essay collection. And I also really love the cover. It's kind of interesting, kind of futuristic. It's giving me Afrofuturist vibes and I love it. So yeah, I got this guy from Upstart and Crow. And then from, I also didn't film in there actually, which is another one of my favorites. It's called Pulp Fiction Books on Main Street. I got Jane, a Murder by Maggie Nelson, and I've actually already read this. I just like frantically read it. I think it honestly took me, yeah, just one whole day of just sitting right here, and I just finished this. I just love Maggie Nelson. She just has such a beautiful way with words. And it was really lovely to end my year with Maggie because, yeah, I love her so much. I will talk about this in more depth when I'm not feeling sick and it's hard for me to, oh, we've got a little visitor. It's just hard for me to talk and formulate cohesive sentences, but if you've been thinking about picking this up, I highly recommend that you do. Loved it. Then I have Mary Oliver's Dream Work, which I also bought at Pulp Fiction, and I've been meaning to buy this for quite some time now. There's something about Mary Oliver that really just warms my soul. She gives me similar vibes to Ross Gay. I've talked about that book a lot, The Book of Delights, and I just love any author that makes me feel connected to the natural world around me, to pay extra close attention when I'm out and about, and they just really warm my soul, and her words are no exception. They are just truly a delight. And I actually was reading a few poems out loud to my mom, and we all both just smiled, and it was just a beautiful experience. So I think that this book is lovely to have on hand when you're having a bit of a blue day or you want to feel alive. You can just pick this up and I guarantee you your day will improve by at least 20%. So yeah, I really wanted some of Mary Oliver's work. I read Upstream earlier this year and I'm pretty bummed that I don't own it. It was a library copy, which we love being library gals, but I do wish I had that, so I wanted to bring some Mary Oliver home with me. And then I bought Whereas by Layli Long Soldier, which is another book of poetry that I read this year that was introduced to me by my lovely friend Eva, and I actually wanted to gift this to her along with The Seas by Samantha Hunt, my other favorite of the year, but sadly I'm too ill and I didn't want to get her or her family sick, so we unfortunately could not see each other, which brings me a lot of sadness because I just love her so much and I love her literary tastes and I wanted to give her a little Christmas present, or Hanukkah present I should say, but alas, here we are. I'm going to leave this with my mom, and hopefully when I'm back in town we'll be able to reconvene and exchange some gifts. So yeah, that's the other book I bought. And then lastly, I wanted to mention, where do you want to go? Okay, lastly, I wanted to discuss a book that I actually ordered at the Evil Chapters. I hate to support big bookstores when I've got such great quality independent bookstores in the city. However, I looked for this book high and low and I was unsuccessful, and I know that there's no indie bookstores where I live now, so I figured I would just order it via Indigo so that I can pick it up in my college town where I'm living. But I'm gonna read you the little blurb because I have not heard anyone, actually no, that's not true. Okay, I don't know exactly how I went down this rabbit hole, but anyways, the book that I'm talking about is called The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. I hadn't heard anyone discuss it, but then, like I said, I went down this weird rabbit hole and I found this lovely channel. The person, or the, I guess, handle of the channel is called Morgie Reads. Anyways, they're so sweet and so cute, and they spoke about this book in their top books of 2020, as well as this other video, which was my introduction to their channel, which was Reading Bookseller Recommendations Part 1. Anyways, they raved about this book, and it was already in my radar because the bookstore I used to work at, we would carry this book quite often, and I was always very intrigued by the cover, but for whatever reason, I never purchased it and never made like a conscious note or wrote it on my TBR, like physical TBR. And then when I went into Upstart, I realized that they didn't have a copy of it anymore, and it became this fixation that I needed to find it, and I was not successful, like I said, so I ordered it on Indigo, but I'll read you the little blurb so you can also get hyped and buy it yourself, and we can start off the year reading The Book of X, because I feel as though that's going to be a favorite of mine. I don't know, this is just a premonition, but I have very high hopes, and I hope this book does not disappoint me. But let's read it. Moment of silence, and let's pray that I don't butcher me reading this. So it says, the Book of X tells the tale of Cassie, a girl born with her stomach twisted in a shape of a knot. From childhood with her parents on the family meat farm to a desk job in the city to finally experiencing love, she grapples with her body, men, and society, all the while imagining a softer world than the one she is in. So the reason why I also discovered this book, actually, and why it came back into consciousness outside of watching Morgie's video is because I was on Goodreads and I was looking at books that were similar in vibe to The Seas, because that is, to no surprise, my favorite book of the year. And the first thing that came up was the Book of X. So I was like, oh my God, perfect. So that's partly why I want to start my year off reading this. So that'll be waiting for me when I go back home. I'm leaving Vancouver, not tomorrow, but the next day. So we'll be spending Christmas and New Year's up in my snowy college town. And yeah, hopefully we'll be starting the year off with this book, and I will be coming to you soon with my top 10 reads of the year. I just wanted to share this little video of me coming back home for a week for the holidays and sharing some of my favorite spots in Vancouver. If you're ever here, please check these out, as well as the foodie places that I tried to film. And if you have any questions at all about Vancouver, please send me a DM and I would be so happy to answer any questions, because as much as I used to hate on Vancouver, it is honestly such a lovely place. It's just becoming increasingly difficult to live here, and it's becoming a bit of a hellscape for economic reasons, but other than that, it's delightful. So anyways, I hope you're all doing well, and we shall see each other very soon. Apologies that my little loaf was in this kind of funny shape throughout the whole video, but yeah, I'll see you all very soon.